Well,
eventful life has never quite been the same since. Familiar face in the Sweden, Glasgow Rangers and Gothenburg defences. Joachim Björklund is back at Old Trafford. Well, there are only 3 unbeaten teams in this season's Champions League. Lazio and Barcelona, the co-favourites, and Valencia. Tonight, Manchester United must do what Bayern Munich and Bordeaux and Glasgow Rangers have been unable to do and beat the Spanish cup holders. And the public address system has just revealed to this packed house now what we've known for the last 10 minutes or so, that Roy Keane is staying, and that really has lifted the temperature at kickoff. But here's Mendieta trying to lift Valencia from the kickoff. Gary Neville playing alongside Yapstam, coming across to halt his progress. And Mendieta goes on and crosses it dangerously, and Phil Neville hits him against Stam, and here's a dirty chance for Ferry Oz, and again, and it's twice denied by Roman van der Haar, and Manchester United could have been behind inside 40 seconds.
Oh, that's a brilliant play here from Mendieta. Takes 2 defenders on, cuts it back. It's a lucky ricochet. Farinas hits one straight down the throat of Roman van der Haar, and his second one's a very tame effort. But what a let-up, and what some excellent play from Mendieta. Probably the equivalent of the Spanish David Beckham.
Here's the English David Beckham, involved immediately with the Italian left-back, Medio Carboni. Well, they'll be seeing a lot of each other this evening. Phil Neville, who's slotted in a right back. Tidied up though by Milla. And on now to Mendieta, and Claudio Lopez is offside here.
You know, Clive, looking at Mendieta, you just wonder whether the Valencians may have taken something out of the Fiorentina performance, where they played a loose midfield player behind the United 2 central midfield players. Remember the damage Rui Costa did to United. I just wonder whether Mendieta may be taking that on board.
Ollie Solskjaer playing alongside Andy Cole in attack this evening. The most notable pairing was for the FA Cup final last May, but they were only together for about 10 minutes. Roy Keane's injury ushered Solskjaer out onto the flank. And Solskjaer just demanded to be selected this evening. Claudio Lopez, who's an automatic choice for Valencia. Number 2 is Pellegrino, the Argentine centre-back. Luis Milla out to Carboni. Here's Claudio Lopez. Offside Mendieta.
So that's that situation where he's starting out on the right-hand side very loosely, but he's looked very much as if he's inclined to dive infield and make little diagonal runs, a bit similar to what Petrescu does at Chelsea.
Mendieta on the ball again. Support from Oscar, starting a match for the first time for Valencia. He's been a substitute in just about every game this season. This is Angomar, the French right back. Now Milla, now Oscar. Irwin got in the way, but was penalised. In charge of Valencia, the Argentinian Hector Cooper. Joined Valencia in the summer after taking Real Mallorca past Chelsea to the Cup Winners' Cup final last season, where they were a little unlucky to be beaten at Villa Park by Pavel Nedved's late goal for Lazio. Both Björklund and Pellegrino are in there. Claudio Lopez curled in towards Angomar, but Roman van der Haar has been a little busier than Alec Ferguson would have liked in the opening moments.
Although if you look on the positive side, he's had a good start. Three attempts, three times he's fielded it safely, so he's well bedded in.
Cole out to Beckham. It's tossed in towards Ryan Giggs, arriving late in the day, headed on towards Andy Cole, dealt with by Joachim Björklund at the cost of a Manchester United corner.
Yeah, some beautiful wing-to-wing play. The space is out wide when Valencia come forward because of their attacking full-back formation, and that's a beautiful flighty ball. And Giggs, he just tries to keep it in the danger zone. Good clearance from Björklund.
Beckham will take the corner. Turned away by Milla. This is Irwin. Beckham again. Scholes making a late dart. Björklund didn't clear it. Giggs drives it in. It'll come through for Solskjaer, who steps up, yaps down. Solskjaer again. Driven in low, Pellegrino the man in the way. Mia to Farinos. And Valencia playing their way out of trouble. Now Mia looking to get Claudio Lopez beyond the Manchester United defence, but Gary Neville instead sits Ryan Giggs going forward, taking on Anglemar, who body checked it.
A good positive play by Giggs, space behind Anglemar, went at him and Anglemar's forced to obstruct. And I just wonder whether United may have learnt a little bit from the last trip to Italy, whether they may play one of the flank players out wide and maybe tuck Beckham into a more central area.
Giggs certainly didn't have much joy against Torricelli 2 weeks ago, but he had a very good game in Tokyo last week. Beckham takes. Keane's waiting at the far post. It was Mia who was in front of him, and Manchester United have another corner.
Well, you wouldn't mind seeing that pairing too often. Keane against Mia. I mean, Mia's one of the smallest players on the field, and Keane is excellent in the air. And he'll need to be tonight, because United are a little bit short on height tonight.
Djukic is marking Keane at the corner, which Beckham is about to deliver. It's towards Keane. Nobody was marking him. Turned away by Oscar. And here goes Claudio Lopez, all alone for the moment, but the cavalry is arriving. On towards Oscar. Oh, he asked a lot of Mendieta there. Keane getting amongst it. Solskjaer. Björklund ahead of Cole. Now Pellegrino. Like others in the Champions League, Valencia are nowhere in their domestic league, but their mid-table standing in Spain is a product of a slow start. They've lost just one of their last 10 games. United have won 7 of their last 8. The exception, though, the defeat in Florence a fortnight ago. How costly will that prove to be? Solskjaer unable to link up with Cole, but he's found Scholes. And now Beckham, and Scholes goes on. And Djukic just shepherds the ball behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, contrasting styles. United are sticking to their tried and trusted almost a 4-2-4, both wide players tucking back in. Was Valencia flooding midfield, having a lot of fluency and a lot of loose players in midfield. And it's really a question of who wins that particular battle for me.
We have talked about a cautious-looking Valencia lineup, but in fact both Oscar and Mendieta are spending a lot of time up the field in support of Claudio Lopez. It's almost a front three. Cole behind Solskjaer.
There's certainly Mendieta and Oscar are getting lots of room. Lopez is trying to occupy the whole of the back four and stretch them back. While Mendieta and Oscar just to play in the space or the hole behind them. I think what United's philosophy must be that, you know, we're better than you, we'll inflict our way and your way of playing, but that was a problem out in Fiorentina.
Mendieta under pressure from Scholes, who did enough. Gary Neville tidying up, but now Scholes has given it back to Mendieta. And Neville wasn't able to stop him this time. Mendieta has 3 in support. Ooh, it was a poor cross in the end, way beyond Oscar. And possibilities there, which went by without any end product. Cole to Scholes. Giggs. Away from Anglemar. Now can he catch up the ball? Yes, he can. Crossed in towards Cole. Oh, it just wouldn't bounce kindly. It's come out to Beckham though. David Beckham. Heartening though from Giggs.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he's positive. He's tucked in tight there. He's got a great ball across the box. A little bit more lockdown. That could have come down to Gunnar Solskjaer. Beckham may be a bit ambitious, particularly with Philip Neville powering up on the outside. But that would be the plus point at the moment, at the start of Giggs.
Giggs selling Scholes a little short there. Oscar's found Anglemar. down the full stretch, but it was Phil Neville who cleared it. Ongomar has won it back. This is Mendieta.
Actually, it's a bright start from both sides, isn't it? I mean, there isn't a suggestion of either side trying to sit behind the ball and be patient. Both sides are trying to go for each other.
Only 10 minutes played, but neither defence looking altogether secure. Headed by Mia. Phil Neville to David Beckham. Ollie Solskjaer. Scholes joining in. Now Giggs. Irwin has gone on the outside, but Giggs drifts it into Solskjaer.
They're trying quite a few of those diagonal balls, United. Almost as if they realised that Valencia were going to play with a spare man at the back and try and isolate him with diagonal crosses. I know there was a feeling in the United camp, and perhaps that's why both Solskjaer and Cole are playing, that perhaps Valencia lack a little bit of pace with their two central defenders.
It's interesting that they're playing three at the back tonight, partly because of injuries in midfield, but their coach Hector Cooper is renowned for favouring a back four and has played a back four all season long for Valencia until tonight. It's almost 3-4-3.
What he's got as well, he's got two wing backs as they are now, who are both prepared to come forward. Both have got great attacking qualities. Ongomar, as we know from his days in the French team, will power forward. Carboni on the other side, lightning quick, and he's got a great habit of joining up with front players.
They're both 34 years of age, though, which isn't the ideal age for a wing back. Ongomar takes. In towards Solskjaer, and Djukic has been penalised for holding Cole. The announcement at kick-off was designed to really ignite the atmosphere this evening, but I do feel that on many occasions the Manchester United supporters need their team to get them going rather than the other way around. Gives his free kick. Came off Farinos. Cleared by Mia. Which Gary Neville will take. He was playing alongside Stam at the heart of the defence this time last year. They had a spell together late autumn, early winter, which was pretty successful. Played in Munich together, played in Barcelona together. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson once saying of Neville here that he was an inch short of being one of the outstanding centre-backs. Irwin. Broke off Keane for Ongomar. This is Mendieta. Irwin got in a challenge and has been penalised. Certainly he got some of the ball. Mendieta had to run with it because Claudio Lopez run offside. Here is Claudio Lopez. Mia. Pellegrino. Mia. Now Ongomar. Three white shirts in the box. They'll wait for the throw-in. Claudio Lopez. Luis Milla. Oscar. Play back to Farinos, who had that early chance. Carboni. Mendieta trying to reach it, Gary Neville did. Out as far as Mia, though. Stam taking matters into his own hands. Very capable in possession though on the visitors.
Yeah, they look excellent to me. They've settled down well. They look very happy with the way they're playing.
Good side back here.
And I know it was something brought up in the last European match, but I do have this feeling that at some given time, whether United have been looked at a lot by continental teams, but that's a great ball for Beckham. Just seen off there by the sweep of Djukic. But I wonder whether they've got to go a little bit heavier in midfield. I wonder whether teams look at them and say, hey, these are very, very good when they're coming forward, when Beckham and Giggs are raiding. Let's make sure we have plenty of bodies in midfield to keep the ball away from Scholes and Keane.
Irwin. Keane was under pressure from Farinos, and the referee was very close, has penalised the Spaniard.
The other thing they're lacking without York, and I know York hasn't been in his best form at the moment, Clive, is somebody that pulls out off the front. Normally in European games, Alex Ferguson always likes that. He likes sharing him in there for the simple reason, somebody that can come off and hold the ball up and allow midfield players to come up to them.
David Beckham is placing the ball very carefully. Andres Palop looking rather nervously in the direction of the free kick.
Is that within about 2 yards where he slotted one past Barcelona last season, isn't it? Very close.
It's Beckham. All clipped in towards Giggs and flicked on to Irwin, and now to Andy Cole. Blocked. Come for Solskjaer. Well, he always hits the target. Didn't really get hold of it. Palop's save was pretty comfortable, but the free kick was ingenious.
Great chance, clever play. Everybody expecting the big blast. Can't quite turn Andy Cole, but when this comes down to Solskjaer at this level, that's entitled to be a goal.
Well, he got 4 in half an hour on Saturday.
I can tell you the day only took 10 minutes to get that.
That was against Nottingham Forest last season. Who's the manager then?
I give up.
Carboni. Headed away by Gary Neville.
Both sides have had a good chance already, haven't they?
And it looked like creating more. This is Mia. Claudio Lopez. He is highly rated. Valencia struggled to hold on to him in the summer after he scored 37 goals last season. Rumours abound about his future. It was the best of clearances from Phil Neville. There is a story going around that Lazio have already signed him on some kind of pre-contract deal, that Atletico Madrid have even shared in that deal, and that they will go half and half with him in the future. But for now, he's a Valencia player. Solskjaer. Scholes looking to feed Giggs. Ongomar. Oscar. Mendieta. Away by Stam, who has been very doubtful for this game all day long. He's spent the day in bed nursing the virus. Yap Stam, he's been on fluids and tablets all day, and I don't think that Sir Alex Ferguson is expecting him to get through the entire night, but it is Yap Stam.
And he is a big, strong one. He'll make it.
Bigger than your ground. Giggs. Past Onglamar. Breaks the challenge of Mia. Runs kindly for Keane. Giggs gets it back. Ryan Giggs now. Taking on Björklund and shooting when he had 3 in support, but sign of the confidence ebbing back into Ryan Giggs' game.
Yeah, you don't mind that when Giggs is taking people on and being positive. I actually thought he had a chance before he dipped his shoulder. I thought he might have just had a crack just about here. It goes on, he takes it one again and actually goes away from goal with that. Whether he thought he was going to hit Björklund, who was closing him out.
Oscar foul by Phil Neville. Claudio Lopez was deflected, but Raymond van Gaal reacts. There was a flag raised anyway. Pitch is maybe playing a little better than we'd anticipated. It's sticky and it doesn't look the best, but the turf has been relayed 4 times in the last 2 years, as recently as October. They're going to try and seed it next summer, but ball's rolling truly enough. Here's Carboni, who's played on this pitch during the Euro 96 for Italy. Given away by Farinos to Giggs. Keane. Now Phil Neville with Beckham ahead of him and 3 down the centre. Phil Neville has gone on. Beckham has fed it. Neville in behind Valencia here. That's the one place there was no support. Irwin arriving, and there's a flag against Phil Neville who hadn't retired.
Just a little bit surprised that they all went in flat like that from where the position Neville was, you know. It was crying out for me for somebody to sit out for the sort of ball that came out, digging it out like that. Good move from Beckham and Neville though. Good combination down that side. I mean, that's playing against wing backs. That's where you can exploit it, when you get 2 against 1 against their solo wing back.
Goal kick only as far as Beckham. Jukic away. This is Mia. Now Farinos. Ongloma. Poor control. Wonder how, taking every available moment of time, but it's coming back at him here. Mendieta.
This fellow looks a real threat to me, I must admit.
We caught Irwin there.
Didn't quite mean in that fashion.
He's going to get a yellow card, Mendieta, and that means that he will miss Valencia's next match against Fiorentina. And it's a while away, March the 1st, but it's Mendieta's 3rd yellow card of the tournament. That's nicely played. Ryan Giggs. Cole making her under his left. Beckham's free to his right. Giggs goes on. Ran into traffic eventually, and the ball was just deflected, squirted by the right-hand post of Andres Palop.
For a moment, you know, when that's in flight, it's the little deflections. Good laying off, good front running there from Giggs. When you get the little squeeze in on the tackle for half a minute, I bet the goalie thought that might have been drifting over him.
Midpoint in the first half. Beckham takes. Goalkeeper did just enough. This is Solskjaer. Easy for the goalkeeper this time, although he decided against catching it. There wasn't a red shirt anywhere near him. Might regret that. Beckham with his left foot, headed away by Jukic. Irwin. It looked like a handball by Mia, but he got away with it. Oh, that looked like a handball by Oscar. Mendieta.
Yeah, both the wide players screaming out for the ball off Mendieta there, but he was looking to play the little quick one that gets Lopez in.
It's Kim Milton, who did referee on this ground during Euro 96.
Is it imagination, Clive, or are United this season in Europe playing more stretched out than they were? It don't seem so compact to me. No players very often, particularly the midfield players, they ever get longer passes.
Well, we eulogised last season about the threat from the flanks of Beckham and Giggs, so I guess they spent a lot of time out there last season. In towards Claudio Lopez, managed to bypass Gary Neville, but Jaap Stam was alert.
We're getting back to that point, you know, there's a lot of games though when Beckham particularly came into midfield and took control of games.
Here he is wide on the right-hand side.
Giggs on the back post, empty.
Free waiting, Pellegrino managed to cut it out, but Manchester United do have a corner kick. Solskjaer and Cole are just having a word in the middle. They're just trying to coordinate their runs. They haven't played together a great deal, only a couple of times this season, against Graz here last month and in Monaco against Lazio in that Super Cup final. Only that once last season for 10 minutes in the FA Cup final, so a bit of understanding to find yet. Beckham's corner. Oh, came off first Björklund and then Jukic. Both the goalkeepers are understudies. Palop of Valencia standing in for Santiago Canizares, the Spanish #1, who broke a leg earlier in the season. Wyman van der Hau standing in for Mark Bosnich, who will be out for the next 3 weeks because of hamstring trouble for Manchester United. Oscar towards Claudio Lopez. That's a good run. Ball just run away from him. Oscar might find it though. Irwin miscues. Mendieta trying to make something of it. Gary Neville with a header, but the flag is up. It's untidy.
I don't know whether he's keeping half an eye on Yapstam, but Gary Neville to me looks a bit shaky in the middle of defence.
Keane to Scholes. Free kick has gone Manchester United's way. Solskjaer being watched by Björklund. Beckham instead guides it into the path of Dennis Irwin. Crossed in towards Cole. Solskjaer was there too, might come for Beckham. Carboni clears, only as far as Phil Neville. A bit of variety on the Manchester United free kicks tonight. Nobody gambled on the near post. The next live football on ITV will be on Sunday. One of the compulsive weekends of the football year, the third round of the FA Cup. And we bring you Huddersfield Town versus Liverpool, live from the McAlpine Stadium. Join Des at 1:30 for kick-off at 2, and during the match, the draw for Euro 2000 finals. We'll bring you every moment of that matters. Sunday evening, ITV2, Italian football live, Juventus versus Inter Milan. That's at 7:25 on ITV2 on Sunday evening. Two famous names from Manchester United's recent past. Mia letting it run for Mendieta. Oscar to Ongloma.
At the moment, as I say, they're very compact, Valencia. They're coming forward in numbers, both fullbacks pushing out. And I've got a feeling that if United could counter themselves, particularly Giggs, Ongloma takes a long time to get back, once he's pushed forward. And if Giggs puts in one or two of those sprints when they're counter-attacking, he could find himself in a lot of good space in goal-scoring positions, unmarked.
Cole trying to make that his. Djukic just managed to resist.
Certainly at the moment there's not a lot sticking with the United front two. They're not getting the best service, to be fair, into.
That's Claudio Lopez trying to catch Wyman van der Hau off his line. And it was an audacious but very worthwhile attempt by the Argentine.
Oh, great attempt that. He's seen Van der Hau off his line almost, and a little bit more height than the first one because he had enough pace on it to go the distance.
I remember Claudio Lopez as Batistuta's striking partner in the Argentine World Cup side in the summer of last year. Beckham's free kick almost came to Solskjaer. Djukic away. This is Mendieta.
At the moment, Alex United's best way for a goal. And they've thrown balls into central areas, just top balls in. But
what a run by Carboni. Such a good pass at the end of a surge down the field, which began with a nutmeg of David Beckham here. Pellegrino filling in for Carboni. Farinos. Mia. Carboni just about recovered his breath here. Gary Neville away. Pellegrino. Ongloma. Lopez always trying to get between defenders, trying to get on the shoulder of one and then trying to break between the two central defenders or down the sides of them, and he has the pace, if the delivery is right, to embarrass any defender. Without prompting in his press conference yesterday, Alec Ferguson referred to this as a seriously big match. And his team were up against it in Zagreb in October and came through. It's a free kick. They were up against it in the semis and the final last season. They couldn't afford to lose to Bayern Munich here a year ago. And they've been required to produce, as world travellers generally have.
This presents them with a great opportunity, though. They have had it looked as if they're vulnerable, Valencia, on anything except plays. The marking doesn't look particularly good. They look as if they get numbers in there, and Pellegrino tries to latch on to Stam, and then everybody else just seems to stand still. Once or twice, Schultz has got himself into unmarked positions.
Ryan Giggs is volunteering, and it will be David Beckham. Oh! Clipped the crossbar, and Andres Palop, the Valencia goalkeeper, is still waiting for the free kick to be taken, I think. He didn't know it had happened.
Oh, there's great pace on this, and that's very unfortunate. That pity he couldn't have got that a little bit more to come down. I mean, the keeper's nowhere. Hasn't got a prayer, the keeper. That's a great strike.
Well, David Beckham scored twice this season in 23 games now for Manchester United, and they've both been free kicks in Zagreb in October and back in August against Arsenal in the Charity Shield. It's not a prolific output for a man of his ability, but the threat is undeniable. A few assists from David Beckham too. Giggs with a little back heel for Dennis Irwin. Surging past Anglemar. The Frenchman managed to get back to him.
I don't think he fancies defending, though, Anglemar. I think he's one of those that's very enthusiastic about coming forward, but I think if he's made to track back towards his own goal, that's not his favourite part of the game.
Anglemar's header. Mendieta did the difficult bit, then lost out to Giggs. Skulls to Keane. Giggs has gone on here. Keane tried to play him in. Anglemar managed to get in the way. Then Keane got involved with Mia. If you have just joined us, the scoreline is blank, and the biggest news of the evening so far is that Roy Keane has signed a new contract with Manchester United for the next 3.5 years. It seemed more and more likely over the last few days. Now it's official. Offside. Neville's free kick right down the throat of Pellegrino, the tallest man on the field. Oscar. Anglemar breaking down the right-hand side.
To be fair to Valencia, they seem to have lost a little bit of that cohesion at one time early on in the game. Particularly, they were very, very slick, very bright, a lot of good passing. At the moment, it's become a little bit mixed up. Coach Cooper's out on the field there, just come out of his box to try and get them at it.
Hector Couper's view. Giggs from Irwin's clip. Run away from Farinos. Here's Solskjaer now! Oh, he screwed his shot.
Another good chance though, wasn't it? Off his left side, unfortunately, both of them have come on his left foot, although we saw him hit the screen with his left foot in.
Mendieta is offside here. Just. He's not so convinced.
Can't afford to argue, already on a booking, but that's a wasted cross. Solskjaer, I thought, should have done better with that. Let's see what almost happens on the read. No, we're not going to see it.
He smashed that volley in against France here, didn't he?
Yeah.
With his left foot. His only European goal of the season thus far. Here's Mendieta, definitely onside this time. Keane in pursuit of him. This is Claudio Lopez, stolen a march here on Stam, but Jaap Stam managed to recover. They played together against each other in the World Cup quarter-final last year. Claudio Lopez scored, I think, against Holland, if I remember rightly. It's a good contest. Oh, into Giggs. The pitch has been relayed down in that corner as a result of some of the work that has been done elsewhere on the field. Scholes. Now Phil Neville. Headed away by Anglemar.
Encouraging to see Scholes trying to get in. That's a great ball.
Neville to Beckham. He was just stretching for it and couldn't pull it back far enough for Solskjaer. Mendieta. Tackled by Giggs. Keane to Solskjaer. Beckham available. Cole in the middle. Solskjaer's gone on here. Ollie Solskjaer. Cross comes Djukic. Manchester United throw. Beckham. Comfortable for the goalkeeper. Claudio Lopez finding Farinos. Claudio Lopez has gone on here, and Gary Neville just managed to intervene. Very nicely done by Ryman van der Hau. Played most of Saturday's game, his 30th for the club, and he's played in big matches for Manchester United. Semi-final of this competition against Dortmund, quarter-final of this competition against Monaco, the European Super Cup against Lazio earlier this season. Trouble is, United lost all those. Here's Beckham. Maybe not a lucky goalkeeper, a good one, but not a lucky one. Beckham's run a free kick. Carboni having some problems with David Beckham. Nick just made himself available again. Beckham giving him a blind eye. It is Giggs this time. Turned away by Carboni. He just beat Beckham to the ball, that was all. Neville. And towards Solskjaer, headed out by Carboni. It's Keane! It has to be Roy Keane! The perfect day for the Manchester United captain. He breaks the deadlock with 7 minutes of the first half remaining. 38 minutes into the next stage of his Manchester United career.
And if that's the winner, you know he wants to get straight in for a rise. I mean, it's a very, I think, was it Mila that got ahead, a very weak header? But he's come out to him and the number of times he took things away from there. It's a little nothingy situation, really. He's just on the edge of the box, picking up the drops. One touch, bang.
Well, he scored 8 goals for his manager this season, Roy Keane, and 5 of them have come in international club competition, 4 in this competition, and of course the winner in Tokyo last week. Different time zone, same Roy Keane. Anglemar though, for Valencia. Ooh, I don't think he meant that, it was a slice. It nearly drifted over Van der Hau and under his bar, but he's the man.
Yeah, I mean, perfect for it. I mean, strangely enough, it's not from great play, it's just a long ball forward. But full marks to him, he's anticipated the knockdown, picked it up and tucked it away.
Manchester United on the attack again. Kicks his cross into the hands of Palop. Well, Alec Ferguson was saying earlier in the day that a good benchmark for valuations in Europe was the transfer of Veron to Lazio, the Argentine player we saw against Chelsea last night. £22 million transfer fee. That's before you pay him a penny in wages. Manchester United's transfer fee with Roy Keane, 0. And that's why they push the boat out to keep it.
The strange thing about it, it's been one of his quieter games as well, hasn't it? He hasn't really been involved. He's playing a very steady part in the game prior to that.
He's a lot of paperwork to do today.
There've been a lot of figures going through his head, but that's the only one he'll be concerned with. 1-0 and he's got it.
Stamp, only as far as Claudio Lopez, who kicked more of the ground than he did of the ball.
Yeah, whether the ground's having an effect on them, whether it's pulling at the legs a little bit, the Spanish team, but quite frankly, they've lost a lot of that early snap. They had some great pace and zip early on, and United have just kept plugging away and have dominated the game towards the latter stages.
Well, the first goal was always going to be an important one this evening, and Roy Keane has scored it. Giggs, Cole, put out by Farinos, Oscar, Mendieta back to Farinos again. Giggs coming between Farinos and Mia, trying to get Andy Cole on his way. This is Djukic. Good ball, Farinos, good turn, brought down by Roy Keane. Good done with that little push, Roy.
Yeah, I thought on another occasion the referee might have put him in the book for the challenge, so he wants to be careful now.
He was a bit lucky in Florence, because as things got heated in the closing stages, there was some retaliation unseen. He got a bit wrapped up with the Fiorentina sweeper Furicano. Ongoma. Helped on by Mendieta. It's Ongoma.
Some beautiful play down the right-hand side from Mendieta and Ongoma. I'm sure I've got an action replay there. Did he whack one past Pat Jennings years ago like that in Mexico? I'm sure it was Ongoma. Hooked it and threw it over Pat's right-hand shoulder.
He's had a good career with Marseille and Torino and Inter Milan. Won this competition with Marseille back in '93 with that team of Desailly and Deschamps against Milan and Munich with Basil Bolli's goal. Fine career, but he missed out on the crowning glory in the summer of last year when he was overlooked for the French World Cup squad. Andy Cole. The cross was almost too early, nobody caught up with him. Giggs putting on Lamar under pressure.
Yeah, but that's the first occasion I've seen a quality ball for one of the strikers into the gullies, and Cole made full use of it.
Headed down, one back by Keane. Irwin. Giggs. Body checked by Lamar, who was completely befuddled by that.
Yeah, it's clever that Ryan Giggs. Knew exactly where Lamar was, teased him in, flipped it around the corner, knowing full well the Worth is going to get a free kick.
The referee's just having a word with Luis Mia for a word out of place. Giggs with a free kick. Goalkeeper's calm and didn't reach it. It was Cole's head, and then Beckham's, and then volleyed away rather anxiously by Pellegrino. Beckham again, unable to hold off Carboni that time, but Oscar gave it away. Keane to Cole, protecting the ball well. Beckham looking to feed Cole again, trying to skip round Djukic, just lost his footing.
Possibly the best bit of football United have played there. Some very slick, solid one-touch passing. Almost got Andy Cole in.
Didn't travel to Tokyo. In fact, the 25 minutes that he had at the weekend, his first since Florence, where he was substituted Cole. Farinos. Onglamar is bursting forward again. Felt that he was hampered by Neville. Andy Cole. Ryan Giggs. Ron, the last time a Spanish team came to this ground, we sat alongside each other and were thrilled by Manchester United 3, Barcelona 3. It hasn't been that sort of match, but it's been quite an open game, hasn't it?
Been very open. I mean, they started off ever so well, Valencia. Quick, sharp, right passing, supporting people all the while. I just get the impression that whether they're starting to get tired a little bit, whether Manchester United, who haven't played at a particularly high tempo, whether they're starting to lose a bit of belief, but we don't sense the same threat from Valencia that you sensed early on. United have just stuck away and plugged away, and they've got the reward of the goal.
Let's not forget that Mia is playing for the first time this season. Björkland's playing for the first time in 7 weeks. Oscar starting a game for the first time this season. Listen to see if that takes any kind of toll on Valencia as the night goes on. But the night so far belongs to Roy Keane. Here's his international teammate Dennis Irwin. Cole with a flick on.
Yeah, Cole's actually started to come alive over the last 10 minutes or so. A lot of things have stuck with him. Just watch Jeff stand. A lot of things have stuck with him. He's started to get a little bit of life about his game now.
Phil Neville has lost it to this man Mendieta. Tried to get a shot away, which Keane managed to block. Just that one additional minute to be played. Keane got out of his bed this morning with his future still officially in the balance. He has put pen to paper during the day and committed himself to Manchester United to the year of 2003, and he has celebrated that occasion by scoring the only goal of a crucial match for Manchester United thus far. 6 goals in their last dozen matches coming here. Only Real Madrid and Barcelona have won the European Cup for Spain. For all their problems at home, there are high hopes again this time, with all 3 Spanish representatives winning their first round groups. Valencia, let's not forget, along with Lazio and Barcelona, the only 3 unbeaten teams in the competition this season. That's under threat. Ongoma, Gary Neville, Keane into the path of Phil Neville. Beckham has got ahead of him and wide. And as Beckham tried to break forward, Phil Neville played it behind him. They just about managed to link up. Beckham's done well. He's got away from Farinos. Beckham thought it was deflected. No altercations with tonight's referee as yet for David Beckham. He came through his reunion with Diego Simeone here earlier in the year without too many problems. Sure they'll all get together at Christmas, the 3 of them, and talk about old times. Giggs cut out by Björklund and then by Ongoma.
Yeah, but you could see then there was a crowd scene in the box. United had red shirts flooding in there. That's encouraging, that.
Irwin to Keane. Irwin is onside here. Plenty of red shirts ahead of Keane. Headed away by Carboni. This here it was that Keane seized upon for the Manchester United goal. Now Beckham, wrong footing Carboni and feeding Solskjaer! Selected to score goals. Ole Solskjaer has scored Manchester United's second within 2 minutes of the restart. They are in control.
There's some great play by David Beckham here. But look at the defender gifted him. The defender's actually left it. I think if Jukic, the sweeper's actually left it. No, it's not.
Pellegrino, isn't it?
Pellegrino has left it. I mean, that's a good little dummy. Plays it into a danger area, and he's left it on the premise that whether he thinks he's going to deflect it in his own net, or whether he thinks the keeper's going to gather it. The full marks to little Ole Gunnar. He's straight in there, 2-0, and that is almost, well, dare you say it. No, you daren't.
Well, he's only played 90 minutes for Manchester United on half a dozen occasions this season. Despite his heroics in Barcelona, he's been back amongst the support cast for the main part this season. In fact, it's the first time for a year that he started 3 matches in a row, but you know that if he has 2 or 3 chances, he will score 1 or 2 goals. Beckham, probably the #1 provider at the club, to Solskjaer, probably the most natural goal scorer at the club. Pellegrino forward towards Claudio Lopez. Stam just cut it out. Well, the big number 2 just stood and watched it happen. In good view. Phil Neville. David Beckham to Paul Scholes. Scholes caught in possession by Mendieta. Keane is there again.
You really can't see Valencia mounting a challenge unless they throw on an out-and-out striker.
They do have a Spanish international forward on the bench and a Croatian international forward on the bench. Juan Sanchez and Goran Vlahovic. Dennis Owen. Ryan Giggs. Lamar just managed to get a toe to the ball. Dennis Owen, who made his European debut for Manchester United 9 years ago, and tonight overtakes the appearance record of the centre-half from the 68 European Cup winning team, Billy Fox. Owen's cross. Well, it bypassed Solskjaer. Cole didn't expect that to happen and didn't react.
Well, he just wondered if Cole had a gamble there. There was something on a plate for him there.
This is the second Manchester United goal created by Beckham.
He does well with his first little turn where he defeats Carboni, and then he just plays it into a dangerous area, which really, from a defensive point of view, should have been sent up. 4 marks for the little fella. Well, he's not so little actually, Solskjaer, for gambling. He's gone in looking for the ball, he's got one.
Pellegrino got an earful from Björklund. Farinos out to Anglomar.
You see, that's almost a carbon copy ball, isn't it? But there was not one white shirt gambling on that, trying to get past the near post. And I'm not so sure there that Gary Neville would have been prepared to let it go past him anyway.
Here is Pellegrino. Charged down by Scholes. Carboni. Mendieta. Played by Phil Neville. It's brought the crowd to life. Another capacity at Old Trafford, officially 54,606. You try getting a ticket. Mendieta's header. This is Oscar's header. And then Gary Neville's header. Now Anglomar, he had time to set himself. Good one-handed save that by Raymond van der Haar. Has been called on twice tonight and has been equal to each challenge.
That's a brilliant save, that.
Giggs breaking. Cut out by Farinos, a reminder for Manchester United. Anglomar was allowed too much time on the edge of the penalty area to set himself. Cole. Beckham. Terrific energy about David Beckham's play always. Carboni body checked him there as he tried to break past him. Going to be a yellow card for the Italian fullback. He's got a terrible disciplinary record at home in Spain. You may remember he was sent off with Steve McManaman and Paul Ince in that bizarre finish to the UEFA Cup tie last season, in which Liverpool put Valencia out of the competition. Giggs. In towards Solskjaer, headed away by Björklund. Here's Anglomar, who tested the Manchester United goalkeeper a moment or so ago. Mendieta. Mia to Djukic. Behind you. Good chase by Cole. Claudio Lopez, not for the first time tonight, caught offside. Good save that by Van der Haar.
Yeah, excellent save. I mean, Anglomar's had it, he's tried to steady it. He's got a strong arm on it as well. The thing you like about Van der Haar, he doesn't look as if he's ever going to panic or anything. He looks a very steady keeper, calm in effect.
He was a part-time player until he came to Manchester United 3 years ago. He's 36 years of age now. He's a sports teaching degree in Holland, so he's lived a life other than that of the footballer, if you like. None of this really phases him. There are more important things in his life. Managed to get his body between Cole and the ball and was fouled. Ball was moving. Claudio Lopez is offside.
You're all four forwards that like to break off the back of defenders and run and sometimes get caught offside. But he's doing it too much. He's being caught too easily.
This goal's losing out to Mia. Oscar Mendieta let it run cleverly. This is Carboni. Crossed in towards Claudio Lopez. Well, we know all about him and his goal-scoring reputation, and that is the first clear side of the Manchester United goal he's had tonight.
Yeah, it would have been a lucky one. He got a deflection off Phil Neville. Carboni's ball in here that just takes the pace out and drops in Lopez's half, stretching a little bit, but that's a great chance. He didn't have to take it early either. He could have run to the ball closer and then got his body over it. That's a great chance, a big let off that for Man U.
I think we should explain that Des and Terry have been calling him the little bug all night. It is a term of endearment in Spain. They say that he's small and impossible to catch. He'd have been a little something else if he'd knocked that one in. Manchester United have a little bit of breathing space here. 2 up. Roy Keane scoring in the first half. Oli Solskjaer in the opening moments of this second half. Björklund to Angloma. Now it's gone away from Dennis Irwin and in behind Manchester United to a stretch. 3 in support of Angloma. Great chance for Oscar. And 2 great chances in as many minutes for Valencia. And still Manchester United lead 2-0.
Well, that's a giveaway, isn't it? That's great power from Angloma. Picks his man out. If he stays over it, he must make the keeper work here. At the very worst, keeper's got to make a save from him. And that's a balloon over the top. That is 2 great chances within the space of a minute.
Moved from Barcelona in the summer for £4 million, but this is the first time that Oscar Garcia has started a match for Valencia. He was linked with Chelsea a year or so ago. One of the Spaniards who suffered from the Dutch Revolution at the Nou Camp. Played even more games in Europe for Manchester United, but for the foreigner rule in the early 90s when Sonic Ferguson had to leave him out on occasions. In this competition his 41st appearance, and amazing that second on that list of all-time appearances in the European Cup for Manchester United now, ahead of Charlton, ahead of Best, ahead of Law, ahead of any of them, is David Beckham. That's the amount of football Manchester United have played in this competition in the last few years. Keane away. Roy Keane smashed one in from the edge of the penalty area just before half-time. Oli Solskjaer fastened onto David Beckham's low near post cross just after half-time. Manchester United, having been told in no uncertain terms by their manager at the start of the evening how important victory was, are in sight of victory. It's not unusual for clubs to progress from these 14 groups with 2 defeats to their name, but to fail in your first 2 games, that really would have stacked the odds against them. Owen. Djukic. Not sure if Farinos really wanted that. Stam to Keane.
Played very sensibly, Stam, hasn't he? He's suffering from that virus. He's just done enough. Not going to dash about like a lunatic, just going to stay there and use his experience and his know-how.
It's thought unlikely to even start the match at the start of the day, and then even before kick-off we were told that he was unlikely to play 90 minutes, but there's a different make-up to most of us, the up-stamp. Here's Angloma causing more problems for Valencia. Well, it was a cross-come shot. Mendieta wasn't too far away from it, but rather disappointing finish, but another promising surge from the Frenchman.
Yeah, I mean, he did remarkably well to keep that ball in play. and he drives at Irwin now, comes on the inside of him, and he's trying to bend it round the keeper's right hand, and unfortunately slice it across the back of the ball. But he is a powerful threat when he comes forward. As I say, he thinks defending's a little bit of an ugly thing to do, but he loves that coming forward.
Valencia have got to come forward. 2 down here. Mia. Pellegrino. Farinos. Clipped in towards Mendieta on a run. Good call by Ryman van der Hau, and a safe catch. Both Massimo Taibi and Mikel Silvestre will be available, eligible for Manchester United's next game in this competition, which isn't until March the 1st, but the cut-off point, the transfer deadline, took you to the turn of the year. Manchester United may make more signings. Interesting, actually, that the manager kept his nerve during the Keane negotiations. I suppose everybody's awaiting the repercussions for the wage structure, but it may just be these gently loosen the PLC purse strings. The other major star contracts are not up until 2002. It is the year that Sir Alec is due to retire. It might be somebody else's problem, David Beckham's future and so on.
As they said at the head of the programme, though, it's like signing a world-class, one of the great players in the world, basically, and he's on some fortunes, basically on a free transfer.
Beckham has won a throw-in here. Neville trying to project it long towards Ollie Solskjaer, maybe. It's a bit tight, but Carboni has conceded a corner.
That's good play from Neville, though. The boy taking the throw in. Throws it on the left-hand side. There's nothing else Carboni can do if he's going to defend it. He can only give a corner away. And they have looked very vulnerable for me, Valencia, on anything around the edge of the box. A little quick one on here, taken between Neville and Beckham.
Phil Neville's cross. Headed away by Djukic. Here's Keane. Crossed it towards Cole, good save, Andy Cole still, and again stopped. Flag is up. I'm not sure whether the first one would have counted, the second one certainly wouldn't.
Yeah, it was the second one he's flagged for. First one would have you'd have got away with. But that was a brilliant save there. Keeper Pollop stood brilliantly here. There's a ball over. Once again, people are marked in the box. Defence trying to clear. How he's giving him off. I think he's giving Giggs off, maybe.
Maybe.
Because that's come back off the keeper, and I can't really see how Cole can be offside.
Carboni. That's good play by Claudio Lopez. Mendieta. Onglamar is free. Headed down. There is a flag against Carboni, who's the furthest man forward.
Well, that's playing wing backs, isn't it? Cross-field ball. Your right wing back heads it into the middle for your left wing back to try and latch on. But certainly Onglamar's now looked the biggest threat. I see Sheringham warming up and York, and I get the feeling that this is made to measure for Teddy Sheringham, might it? Because they, as I say, they've looked vulnerable when the ball's gone wide, then played into the box. They can't mark, and Sheringham's excellent at stealing in.
Cole has got in behind Valencia again. Pull back, Scholes! Might still come for Phil Neville. Headed by Mia, clears the danger. Scholes was just stretching. David Beckham actually was coming in behind him in a very good position. It's good play by Andy Cole. Farinos. There's nothing much else on for Francisco Farinos.
And I'm not too sure whether Paul Scholes wasn't a bit too anxious there, you know. He looks as if he could have taken his time. I thought it was all over. I thought he'd head that one. I thought the keeper would be picking that one out the net.
And another goal would surely take the heat off Manchester United for the last quarter of this match. Irwin. Mia to Farinos. Jukic, the Yugoslav, tiptoeing forward, still a part of their national side, which has reached the Euro 2000 finals. Miroslav Jukic here, we'll be seeing him this summer. Oscar. Roy Keane, who else? He's done a lot of destructive work in front of that back four tonight, again, Roy Keane. Into Giggs. We tried to run between Mia and Ongamar. Referee was well placed, didn't see anything untoward.
I definitely think the defenders got the sympathy vote there. There's nowhere else they were going to stop him the way he was travelling.
Claudio Lopez, Carboni making the run ahead of him. But after a bright little spell at immediately after Oli Solskjaer's second goal for Manchester United, when Valencia did make a couple of chances for themselves, it's reasonably comfortable for Manchester United with 25 minutes remaining, or it's looking that way. Keane down to Beckham. Clipped in towards Andy Cole.
Unlucky there, Cole, you know. He's just trying to flick a little one back off it, skim it off his eyebrows. Giggs are going in behind him.
Tidy play. Beckham overhit.
It does seem to me any time that United get the ball wide, I mean, Cole's header that the keeper brilliantly saved was a first-class example of A, they don't mark, and B, anybody coming in around the far post has always got a great chance. Always seems to be able to come into space.
Mendieta. Stam across, blocking out the line. Right, I don't know that the Upstam made much contact with the ball. It's sort of shoulder to shoulder. Mendieta has got the free kick.
You feel they need to produce something from this particular situation if they're going to have any chance of getting back in the game. And Mendieta and I'm surprised Lopez is round there. Mendieta and Lopez normally are the people that like to dip.
Claudio Lopez on the far side of the ball, then Mendieta nearest to it. Oscar just behind him. Mia isn't too far away either. It's hit by Claudio Lopez, and another very good save by Raymond van der Houw.
That's a very tidy save. A well-placed shot. Perhaps hasn't got the pace of a Beckham free kick, but it's still a well-placed shot, and he's had to make the distance across his goal to pull off the save.
Dutchman's been excellent tonight. Mendieta with the corner. King was at the near post. I'm not sure the ball had already gone out of play or not. It's a throw in fact, to Valencia. Claudio Lopez. Well, good header by Gary Neville, who just had to adjust to clear. Mia. Here goes Mendieta, but Phil Neville with some good defending this time. Just when you think Manchester United have got Valencia where they want them, another threat.
Exactly right. I mean, really, it's one of, in a strange sort of way, it looks one of the most comfortable games you've seen United in Europe, considering the quality of the opposition. But then all of a sudden, you know, little bits of passing movement, so Angemar pushes forward, or something happens with Lopez and Mendieta, and they're back in with a shout.
There's going to be a change to the Valencia lineup. Number 17, Juan Sanchez, is to replace Oscar. Sanchez, who is a Spanish international and who is an out-and-out forward, who's played quite a lot alongside Claudio Lopez in attack for the Spanish team, although Adrian Ili, the Romanian forward, has been keeping him out. He is ill at the moment.
You're not surprised at that, though, are you? You've got to give Claudio Lopez some support. And To be fair, Oscar hasn't really produced much. Missed a good chance just after half-time.
About a quarter of the match for Valencia to turn things round with that change. They've got some defending to do first, and Stam's on the way forward here to join the likes of Cole. It's Beckham, in towards Scholes! Fabulous third for Manchester United. They're home and dry. A match they had to win has all but been won.
Absolute brilliance. Perfect balling. Defenders all looking for the big guys. The little ginger lad comes in, the local lad, who always seems to glide past people. Terrific glance, terrific finish. Similar to the one he got against Poland, but this time he headed it. Great goal. Great goal. He is a little gem.
Well, I think a lot of people assumed that Paul Scholes would be under the knife tomorrow. The suggestion was that as soon as Manchester United had completed this game, that he would undergo a hernia operation. But the Manchester United manager told me earlier today that he felt as if Scholes was not going to require the operation after all, and he's in such good form at the moment.
Might also be his last touch of the game. I see Nicky Butt and Dwight York are both preferring to come on.
But Manchester United have real daylight between them and their opponents now. And that delivery from David Beckham, absolutely irresistible again. And a goal that had Paul Scholes written all over it. Here is Sanchez, the substitute. Here's Claudio Lopez. But Valencia, who beat Bordeaux by 3-0 in Spain 2 weeks ago in the opening match of this phase, are now trailing by 3-0 here in Manchester. Here comes a double Manchester United substitution. It's the end of Paul Scholes' night. Now this is how he rounded it off with that beautifully directed header from David Beckham's beautifully directed free kick.
Telepathic, big defenders waiting for it to come back on his head for Auckland. No way, the little man's in front of him.
And it Cole's about to come and sit next to him. York for Cole, but for Scholes. Dwight York, who didn't figure on Saturday and only in the second half in Tokyo after being substituted in Florence. Don't kick him, David.
Just hurt him with your ability.
Confirmation of these substitutions. Wouldn't he love to make a point or two tonight now?
What a lovely feeling though. You're 3-0 up against top-class European opposition. You can bring Butt and York, who if anything will add strength to the central areas, to the midfield areas.
A reflect from Beckham. It's lovely stuff. Keane and York combining. Beckham, a lovely flighted pass to Nicky Butt, who was body checked by Ongamar on the edge of the penalty area. Shame there wasn't an advantage there. Giggs was going to, well, I was going to say chip one of the goals of the season. He missed anyway, but it is a free kick. The referee has pulled play back. Wonderful approach play. The manager said that he felt that Manchester United's form was returning in Tokyo. Despite their excellent results this season, he hasn't been altogether fussed with some of their performances. And a little sign of their touch and ability. And here's a yellow card for Farinos for not retiring. The whole posse of Manchester United players, including Stam, Keane, Gary Neville, you can't believe it's going to be anybody other than Beckham. Beckham has provided 2 goals for Manchester United. Scratch of the head, but his standards are pretty high. Maybe high enough to be the European Footballer of the Year. It's a couple of weeks before we'll know whether or not he's won the vote.
Looking at that, you know, you just wonder if it'd have been better setting it off at the left-hand post. There's seemed to be an awful lot of space there.
Confirmation of the yellow card for Farinos. person is one of the great free kick takers in the world. These Giggs. Don't think we can quibble too much with what he does from the dead ball, can we?
Beckham. I'll tell you what I'd like to see him try once or twice though. He's got that, everything's at curl and he flips them round the corners and does it brilliantly. But shouldn't forget he's got a massive shot as well, and he's just a straightforward thud.
Here's Dwight York. Roy Keane. Gary Neville seeking out David Beckham. Terrific play by Beckham. There's a flag against Phil Neville. Careful, he did win it from Carboni. York. Here comes Nicky Butt. Terrific block by Joachim Björklund. Spun away from Keane. Fell for Farinos. Mendieta. Claudio Lopez. Seems all fired up all of a sudden now the game's won. Anglemar. Beat himself. And then held off Butt and conceded a free kick. .15 minutes left to play. Keane, Solskjaer and Scholes the goal scorers.
At the moment it's an absolute trouncing, isn't it? Which after the 15 or 20 minutes into the game you couldn't have foreseen this.
Next live football on ITV is on Sunday afternoon, the third round of the FA Cup. Huddersfield Town versus Liverpool is our live game. Join Des Lynham at 1:30 for a 2 o'clock kick-off, and that programme and that match will also include details of the draw for the Euro 2000 finals. On Sunday evening on ITV2 at 7:25, live Italian football, Juventus versus Inter Milan. News of Roy Keane's new contract will have gone down like a lead balloon in the boardrooms of those two clubs. He's staying with Manchester United. Mendieta, Claudio Lopez. Butt came between them. This is York. Oh, lovely turn away from Björklund. Dwight York trying to go on the outside of Djukic, who was maybe one defender too many. It is a goal kick. You know Dwight pretty well, Ron. You've managed him. He is an easygoing sort of character, but it will hurt him a little bit having been left out tonight, won't it?
Oh, he will be stunned, I'll tell you that now. In fact, I was expecting him, I think he'd have laid that off under normal circumstances, but he wants to make an impression, which can only be good for Manchester United. He hasn't been playing that well, has he, recently? I mean, against Fiorentina, he was, after laying on an early chance for Scholes, was quite subdued. And it may be a little kick that he needs.
He's won 8 games without a goal, which says something.
Yeah, to be fair to him, there's a lot more to his play. That's a brilliant run.
Giggs. Here's Dwight York. Nicky Butt on his Solskjaer. Thought it was going to be one of those great commentators' moments there. 8 games without a goal. Instead, it's Valencia who break with Sanchez. Held up by
It's not very often you'll say that York's control let him down. Yeah. And it was a superb little ball in. Great flick by Giggs. And really York, he should have taken it in his stride and slotted it.
This one from Beckham. He's won it back.
You know, he's done that an awful lot tonight. Just after half-time, you know, he lost good possession a couple of times before the second goal. And raced back and won it back. And it's little things like that that turn football matches. You made a comment earlier about Roy Keane back tackling. you know, whilst all the glitzy play and great balls like that,
It's Solskjaer.
I'm not too sure whether that right foot of Beckham's is a foot or a wand, you know. He is playing balls now from all angles. But it's, as I say, it's those little things, that, if you like, little ugly things that turn games.
It's looked a little bit weary in the last couple of minutes, and if one or two body clocks are still ticking on Tokyo time, at least United's abstinence in the domestic cups gives them a 10-day break after tonight. In fact, they've only one more game in the 18 days before the Christmas rush begins in English football.
I also think this pitch might have taken its toll a little bit. It looks like a sort of pitch that drags on people's legs. Certainly I get that impression with the Valencia team.
Well, the pitch is going to get a 4-week rest too.
At the moment, Big Anglemar could do with a 4-week rest. But he has been very much of a threat coming forward. He's been one of the main threats. And he's had a thankless task really, having to drive forward and then have the, you know, the unenviable task, if you like, of having to look after Giggs, particularly when Giggs is in this form.
Well, because much of European football is civilised enough to work a winter break into its timetable, the Champions League shuts down for 3 months after tonight. It would have been a long winter of worry for any team that found itself appointed to light at the end of the evening, and that's why it was so important for Manchester United to assert themselves in this group. And they've done that very effectively with goals from Roy Keane in the first half, and Ollie Solskjaer and Paul Scholes, both of them set up by David Beckham here in the second half.
I mean, even that little thing there where he made an attempt and forced the Valencia defender into a throw-in. You know, when people criticise him, maybe for his, if you like, his lifestyle or whatever, you've got to realise he is a kid that plays football with every last ounce of passion, if you like.
You weren't at the Barbie ball last week, were you, Ron?
Could have been.
Here is Beckham, who graced that charity occasion, incidentally, on his return from Tokyo.
You can have all that. This is where he graces. He graces football fields.
Mendieta. Here comes Anglemar after a bit of a break. Dennis Irwin standing his ground, shoulder to shoulder with a man he was given about 5 inches away to in reach.
This is what I like. I mean, Anglemar drives forward, comes forward like a Maserati, and trying to choke back now. And they've exploited the position he's vacated.
Here he comes, Anglemar, in the middle of your picture. Giggs, away by Björklund. He's got some defending to do, and Giggs has got it back. York. Giggs, Anglemar stationary. Giggs with a cross, but it's Mia who's got back there to help out the Frenchman.
I don't think he'll be making an overlap for a minute or two. I'm just watching him recover.
Carboni looking a bit weary too now. Anglemar looking over his shoulder and finding Giggs. But finding Giggs with a pass. It's Matador and Bull here, and the ball managed to get its horns.
Genuine though, isn't he? Big genuine guy, the big right back, charging forward, and I just wonder how much that has affected them with their marking and so forth. The very fact that you know, they usually play with a flat back four. They certainly haven't looked comfortable in the middle of the defence.
Those two senior citizens at wing back have had to do a little bit more running than they're probably used to. Ferguson did say earlier in the season that he would be interested to see just how some of the teams in the mainstream of European football handle the extra traffic of the Champions League this time, and Valencia are not the only Champions League high flyers who've been grounded at home. They're 10th in Spain, Real Madrid are 14th. Other Champions League qualifiers like Chelsea and Marseille and Fiorentina and Hertha Berlin are off the pace in their domestic title races. Here's Anglemar again. Trying to make his presence felt when he does get forward. I think I'm right in saying that Bayern Munich are the only side in the last 16 who are actually leading one of the major leagues of Europe at the moment. Lazio going pretty well in Italy, Manchester United in England. This is Goran Vlahovic, who played here for Croatia during Euro 96 and was part of their successes at the last World Cup.
Looks like Claudio Lopez is going to be hooked.
Claudio Lopez walking rather gingerly off to be replaced by Goran Vlahovic for his first appearance of the season. He fell out with the Argentine coach Hector Cúper during the pre-season period. He's been nursing an ankle injury since then. And he's had a good career in Italy and Spain. Nicky Butt. In towards Solskjaer. Pellegrino did enough. It is a corner. Massive cheers. David Beckham trots over to that far side of the ground for a moment. Beckham guided into Butt. And back towards Beckham, but just a little too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, unlucky that. I mean, you could see the lack of concentration with Valencia. They look absolutely dead. The legs look dead, and obviously the minds have gone to sleep as well.
And the Spanish league is the one league in Europe where the major teams do play as many games, certainly in the league football, as we do in England. Owen. He's enjoyed his landmark night. Charged down by Ongelmar.
I think what United have also done, apart from picking up the points tonight, which looks fairly certain now, is they've signalled their intent back to the European teams, who may have thought there was a little bit of a hiccup or whatever after the Fiorentina match.
Yeah, they can keep a clean sheet. This scoreline will reverberate around Europe.
Actually, it's a flattering scoreline for Valencia, isn't it? I know they've had 2 or 3 chances themselves, but United have had plenty of good situations to increase the lead.
Carboni. Gary Neville. Cleared by Phil Neville. Not cleared by Phil Neville. This is Vlahovic. Keane is there. Everybody associated with Manchester United will be delighted with the news of Roy Keane's intent today, but I think the back four in particular are the guys who really feel the benefit of the work that he's prepared to do in front of them. And Roy Keane's name echoing round Old Trafford as it will do until the summer of 2003. Maybe beyond. Might be the next manager.
I don't think he's got a clause in his contract or something like that. I don't think that's the deciding
There are a few
factor.
clauses in his contract, but not that one. Here is Keane. York. Beckham. Oh, coaxed forward beautifully into space for Dwight York. Solskjaer's already there, Butt and Giggs are getting there. Beckham is just behind Dwight York. Beckham's cross. Nicky Butt. Ball did go out of play. It is a corner. I can't do that. Beckham to Neville. But Keane getting it again. It matters to him so much. We are in the 88th minute of a match which Manchester United won, and Roy Keane is hurling himself about to win back a 50-50 ball in the course, as he has been throughout the period of uncertainty concerning his future. Giggs felt that he was impeded. York's first to it anyway. Now Mia's got it. Farinos. Ongelmar. Sanchez back to Ongelmar. The flag is up. Now, we've had so many dramatic nights here in the last 12-18 months, Ron. It's strange that a game involving Manchester United is over and done with long before the end.
Yeah, certainly against top-class opposition as well, which on paper they are, and you know, the previous results in Europe would suggest they are.
It's 10 seasons back in those quaint old days when only the national champions played in this competition since any team retained the European Cup. It was the Milan team of Gullit, Van Basten and Rijkaard, won in 89 and again in 90. Juventus and Ajax and Milan themselves have all been back as far as the final as reigning champions since then. But the course is lengthening by the year. Long way for Manchester United still to go this time, but this has been an important step in the right direction for them this evening. Anything other than a win really was unthinkable. To win comfortably and with some style is a real tonic for them. Keane giving the ball away. Farinos. Carboni. Farinos again. This is Pellegrino. Farinos coaxed in towards the edge of the penalty area. Irwin's header. Ongomar's up there again. Irwin manages to clear. Here comes Dwight York. Solskjaer is up with him. It's those two against half a dozen defenders. York. Now played back to Giggs. Looking for York. Manchester United back to anything like full capacity, do you think yet, Ron?
I think they've been very impressive. Once they get over that early stage, I thought they were going to be in for a very, very tense night the way it started, but goals do make a difference in games, and the first goal, quite frankly, I think has decided the game.
That goal was scored by Roy Keane 7 minutes before the break. Oli Solskjaer and Paul Scholes have added to it since. Mendieta is trying to get one back here for Valencia, but the ups and downs lasted the night. Sanchez. Vlahovic. Farinos. Now Mia. Vlahovic was getting a bit of a tug from Gary Neville. Tried a little back heel, and it was a well-struck shot by Juan Sanchez.
That was good little football, good build-up, nice little threaded ball through, clever back heel, fairly well-struck shot that typifies the night for Valencia. It's gone straight down the keeper's throat again. And Raymond van der Haas had a very tidy night, and a lot of things have been good for him. Particularly that early shot, was it Farinos?
Farinos tested him in the opening couple of minutes, didn't he? Well, in the opening minute.
Yeah, which could have put an entirely different complexion on the game.
Solskjaer. Beckham. Killed it. Well, Valencia have had their moments tonight, but Manchester United have had many, many more.
I mean, he just took the ball, half cut it, and then tried to spin it around the keeper's left hand again, you know, and that's his confidence oozes.
Manchester United's 90th match in the European Cup produces their 50th win in the Premier competition of which they are the holders. They continue to be the holders of Roy Keane's future. He it was on the day he signed a new contract with the club, who steered them into the lead. Oli Solskjaer and then Paul Scholes both fed off the excellence of David Beckham's delivery to give Manchester United an emphatic victory on a night when Sir Alec Ferguson demanded victory of them. The smile on his face tells it all. They will return to action in 3 months' time in Europe with their chances of progressing still very much intact.